Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, outsiders and in-betweeners. My name is Cameron Harris, and I am running for mayor of Chicago in the 2027 election cycle. Tonight, we will be having chicken korma, asparagus, and a biscuit. You know, I think that the White House renovations our sitting president, President Trump, is putting into action are really strange. I am not like partial to the design of the White House. Like it's fine looking, but the idea of renovating the White House is odd. Like the last time I feel like anyone thought about like any sort of big changes or renovations to the White House was in like the War of 1812 when the Canadians, after we tried to fight them, came down here and burned down the White House. And I feel like since that day, it's just kind of been something to be admired. And like this really only appeals to me momentarily, but Xi Jinping, the president of China, has a residence in the Forbidden City known as the Jiangnan. And could you imagine the like global backlash he would receive from everybody, from like UNESCO heritage, from like other world governments for like tearing down one of the palaces of the Forbidden City? Like we would be talking about how this is why, these are reasons we don't like communists. You know what I mean? We'd be talking about how communists don't have an appreciation for art, no appreciation for history, no like intellectual depth as they tear down all this art around them. But our sitting president is tearing down the White House. That is crazy. And I kind of, this idea occurred to me when I was watching, I don't know who this lady was or where I was watching this, but I was watching like a female press secretary on CNN. I was watching a female press secretary on CNN explain to a journalist like the sort of thought processes behind why President Trump wants to install the ballroom. And like all of them are so objectively petty and small. Like not wanting to walk out onto the lawn. Like he was talking about how like women invited to have dinner at the White House in the Rose Garden would complain about like how their shoes, their high heels would get stuck in the mud. And the female press secretary kept going on about how, the new wing of the White House wouldn't be adjoining the White House itself, but that is clearly a lie because he's already admitted that he has a problem with like walking out of the White House and walking across the lawn and having dinner outside. And so there's no way that this newly constructed wing will not be adjoining. There's no way you will be able to convince him or his guests to leave the White House, walk across the lawn, and then enter into a new building. Like they're just going to build a hallway connecting the two. And I feel like that's why they keep pushing on about how, again, how it's not supposed to be adjoining and about how it's going to be like architecturally similar, because when we see it done it will be so much different than the White House that our like public gut reaction will be it should have been torn down and not even completed. Like I really want you, the average viewer, to look up pictures of the like White House presidential lawn now, because seeing the actual like like cubic feet of dirt piled on the White House lawn is awful. It really is.